The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Well, they're a complete team. It seems like the first game of the year was a pretty good test for our defense, and then the second game was a pretty good test for our offense. And kicking in phases, the first game was a pretty good challenge. The second game seems like things fell in place a little bit better. And so, but Catawba's a very talented team and very well coached. And so, and I know, like some of our young guys don't understand, this is a conference game, which means everybody's going to give us their best shot. And so we've got to be ready to play and got to be ready to respond. Anytime in a conference game, and probably for us every game, but if we're not ready to play, we're subject for a struggle, because we're going to give everybody plays that they've saved up that we hadn't seen, the little wrinkles that they've been working on all year, and now it's time to use those wrinkles. And so we're going to get good effort out of people, and so we've got to be ready to go.
They've established their ground game pretty well. Terry Littlejohn, 190 plus against Davidson.
Yeah.
What sticks out to you about their capabilities rushing football this year?
Well, it's important to them philosophically to do it, and we all know that two-dimensional teams are a lot better than a one-dimensional team, and so they've gotten more two-dimensional. Now, when they get against us, that may change. We don't know, but I think Littlejohn's a 3 or 4 year starter, so he's very capable, and they got 4 starters back on the offensive line. They've moved a couple of them around, but it's 4 starters back, and so they got some experience, and they got some people they think they can do the job, I think.
What about your defense? How do you keep the momentum rolling from the good things that they did to get shorter?
Well, we build on it. That's what you constantly are preaching. Continue to get better, continue to get better. And, I told you after the first game, I went in a meeting room and told them we're a veteran team now. And we played more like a veteran team this week. And so we got to continue to just improve and keep working on the things that we know that we need to improve on, which is most everything. In fact, it is everything. That's what we need to improve on, everything, including the head coach. And we got to continue to get better.
First time in 4 years that you've been among the nation's top 20 least penalized teams. How have you developed that discipline?
We got some coaches that have really worked on that a lot. And Coach Hutzel is kind of our penalty prevention guy. And he reminds us all the time and does a great job with that. And but if we take out 7 jumping off sides on offense, we hadn't had many penalties. Hadn't had hardly any. I think 3. If we take those 7 away, we've only had 3. And that's inexcusable. And Coach Turner is on the warpath on that one. And a couple of times it was maybe the snap count or the cadence didn't get done like it was supposed to get done, or maybe alignment once or twice. But most of the time it's just individual mistakes, and we call those dumb penalties. If there's a penalty that happens before the ball is snapped, that's a dumb penalty. And if there's a penalty that happens after the whistle is blown, that's a dumb penalty. You can call it anything you want to. That's just us not being as smart and as sharp as we need to be, and we got to work on that. But we're glad to be where we are, ranked with penalties nationally. I mean, how good is that? And boy, that's a biggie. It really is. It's a biggie.
We talked about special teams last week. How happy were you with how far they came in terms of kick coverage and then some of the other spots?
Oh, I was excited. I really was. Of course, the first thing on the practice schedule last week was kickoff coverage. The second thing on the thing was just attacking blocks and getting off of them. And so we got to see a few benefits from our work. And, of course, our guys, they're in college. They know, and they're determined. And so exciting to see how they responded.
Wide receiver's not the glamorous position on this team by any stretch, but a guy like Steven Isom, who's had to come through so many different injuries to get to the point that he is now, how proud are you of what he's been able to accomplish in his career?
Well, Steven has had more injuries than anybody we've had here probably, and but he is really tough about getting back on the field and finding a way to get back on the field. And we got to be careful with him. He's got to be careful not to cave in by saying, I can't do this and I can't do that. And he hasn't as far as getting on the field, but after you get on the field, you got to get the job done. And but I'm really proud of Steven. Played Saturday, didn't catch the ball. I think he might have caught one and we got a penalty. But he's a weapon. Anytime you get a 6'3", a half, 6'4" guy out there matching up with the guys that he's matching up with, we need to get the ball in his hands more. There's no question about it. But you do what the game plan calls for. You do what they give you. And so we threw the fade pattern to him in the end zone and overthrew him. But his day will come. It'll happen.
Defensively, you had some guys step up. Morris Coates had to come in the middle, step up. You had some freshmen along the defensive front step up. How proud are you of what some of these new guys have done, especially learning from week 1 to week 2 and how difficult that might be for some of these kids?
Well, that's the plan. We hope at the end of the year that we're going to be a great football team because of some of our young guys growing up. Of course, some of our young guys are standing over there watching because they're hurt, and that hurts. But we're going to get better because of just plain old experience. Experience is a great teacher. It's the best teacher. It's a hard teacher sometimes, but it's a good teacher. It works, and so we just got to continue to believe and keep getting it done.
Speaking of maturation of Saheem Stupart, last season comes in as a freshman, and this last week 2 turnovers caused and leading tackler on the team.
Great individual performance, and there's not many people that are the leading tackler and butts a fumble loose, recovers it, and then gets a pick. That's 3 big points, for him. And of course, we got a new award this year called a Talent Award, so he got 3 points on the Talent Award. In fact, he's the only person right now that's got 2 talons on his helmet. And so, really proud of Shaheem. He's a quality guy. Still makes a mistake sometimes that makes him mad at himself, but he's getting better. Yeah.
You talked a little bit about the injuries. Defensive line's been banged up all season. You have another starting linebacker go down. How are you health-wise on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I don't know. We're really thin, and I don't know unless we get Eric Kane to come out of retirement. I don't know what we're going to do at middle linebacker as far as backup this week, and and we got some. We signed 6 linebackers that we thought could play, and 3 of them aren't playing now for various reasons. And we signed 3 defensive ends and 3 defensive tackles that we thought were players, and 4 out of the 6 is not playing for various reasons. And so it really, and the sad thing of it is some of them's out for the year. As a coach, I like to go to bed at night thinking, boy, will we get that guy back? You start, your plans for the future, you want to have it with hope. And then when guys are out for the year, then that eliminates them as far as you hoping that some miracle healing is going to happen, or we can get our healing snakes out and have some kind of ceremony or something. And I'm joking, but you just it's sad for those guys not to be able to play, and it's sad for us as a team that we are not as equipped as we could be.
You talked about play calling, how you're frustrated with yourself after the game Saturday. How do you handle that from one week to the next?
Well, better preparation for one on my part, and second of all, don't call what you think they're going to do versus what you think they're going to do, but versus what you know they're going to do. And so I rolled the dice quite a bit there Saturday, and I was 1 for 7, I think, or 1 for 6. And any dice game that I've ever seen, you're through dealing if that happens. And I hadn't played dice since I was 17 years old. Rolled the dice, but anyway, I was off. I just tremendously off, and got to do better. I got to do better.
Catawba's starting quarterback, Sheehan, seems like he's been there for ages. Hasn't thrown the ball as much this year as he has in the past, but what's he bring to the table?
Well, he's their leader, you know, and he's the head of the clan, and they'll go probably like he goes a lot as far as offense is concerned. And last year he just ate us up, either pulling it down and running it, or finding some receivers in places where they probably weren't supposed to be, but he'd find them. And so we know he's a good player, he's a good operator, and he'll probably come in here with a lot of confidence.
Their linebackers are a little bit more veteran than your own, mostly sophomores. What sticks out to you about that youthful group?
Well, they're big, and they're strong, and they're really good against the run, and so you know, they're probably going to put 7, 8 in a box, and they're going to stuff the run, try to, and so they're the kind of bodies that you want to do that with, and we got to find a way to block them every once in a while.
Is it fun going up against a guy in Coach Walker who played against you at one point in his career way back in 1915, I guess?
Well, we've had a lot of experiences together, you know, or against each other. I'm not sure together, but you know, he's coordinator under David Bennett, and there were some great battles when David Bennett was there, and then he went to Coastal Carolina, was a coordinator, and then came back as a head coach. And so he's an outstanding coach. He does it by the numbers. He's a great recruiter, and a good guy to have as a head coach at Catawba.
Ken, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.